What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Speak and see here. I just want to let you know that for those of you out there that are concerned about the RRF and who may think that the RRF is long gone, I just want you to know it's not. This is a very important video for you guys to watch if you are a restaurant that is looking to get RRF, and you may think it's over because of the Senate hearing that they had the other day where, they didn't pass it all in the Senate, but it's still available. It's still out there. It's still being dealt with. And there is still a lot of hope for you guys out there. So I just want to get this video out there to you and give you the understanding and the basics to what is actually happening behind closed doors as we see progressing right now in the new information that I'm going to be bringing you. So stick around for this video. Stick around to the end. It's all the way from the front to the back. You'll learn a lot from this as far as your RRF is concerned. So thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe. Thanks.
Yeah.
Before I forget, a quick shout out to my boy Jason McElhome, who's in this business, fighting for all you small businesses. Go to trysmallbiz.com and check him out. He is all about small biz. So here we go. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's good to see you today on the Speak and See Show. Like, subscribe, and click that notification button so when I get this information out, you can get this information in. Okay, before I get started, I just have a quick question. Okay, we're small business owners here. This is a small business channel. We bring funds in for small businesses with grants, with loans, with PPP, with all that fun stuff that the feds and the state prescribe, as well as some even local businesses and communities subscribe to their small businesses in their area. One small question before I get started is, okay, we're all small business owners here. We're all very smart people, or at least courageous people. One of the two, which in some of us both. However, if you are a small business owner, I have one simple question for you. Okay, you're a small business. You're going out of business. Okay, you're going out of business. Let's change that. You're not going out of business. You're retiring from your business and you're handing your business over into the hands of another person to control your business and move it forward and hopefully lift it up during trouble times, during good times. Now, two people walk in your door to fill out an application to manage your business and control your business before you go on retirement, and you're going to put your business in their hands. Two people walk in and fill out an application. One of them is named Donald Trump. He walks through your door and says, yeah, I think I can get this business going. Here's my resume. And the other one is Joe Biden. He walks in and says, yeah, I think I can get this going. Here's my resume. And they both walk in your doors. Who are you going to give the job to in order to control your business for the rest of your life? Well, answer that question for me down in the comments below. And can somebody say, hey, I still want my 10K.
Yeah.
What's up, guys and girls? Who told you the well was dry? Who told you the well was dry as far as your RRF goes? Well, I don't want to mention any names on who told you the well was dry, but I do know that the Senate knocked it down the other day, the RRF, but does that mean that it's gone? No. I'm going to bring some things into fruition for those of you that are very concerned about that RRF, for those restaurants that are still saying, what the heck happened? I know it was a fluke. It was crazy that the Senate had brought up. We want to thank Ben Cardin for bringing that up and letting the chips fall where they may. Now we know that the Republican side does not want to do their plan. They want to do their own plan with RRF. The Democrat side had their own agenda, and the Republicans said, nah, well, you want to take that stuff out. And Ben Cardin, in his plan, we got to realize what the Republicans were thinking. Well, they put things in there. They leave opening doors to put things in there that we don't agree with. But they didn't. The Republicans didn't want those doors open. They wanted the money just going directly to the ones that missed out in the first round. Kind of like they wanted the idle grants to go to the businesses before that policy map was thrown in there by the Democrats. I'm going to go over a quick few notes for you all here so you guys can get the understanding of what is actually happening and what is going on as we speak. As we speak, guys, the well is not dry. The game is not over for Restaurant Revitalization Fund. It is not. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the National Restaurant Association. This is the go-to, the kingpin of the national restaurants, where they get their information from. And I don't want to diss the National Restaurant Association for this article. It's very informative, and we agree that the Senate did replenishing was dashed by the Senate. It really was. It was. So I'm just going to say right here, let me just read this up front. And I want to bring this into a little bit more detailed context of what's really going on, because this doesn't really give you the full story. It's kind of ends saying it's over when the truth of it is it's not. It's not over by any stretch of the imagination. So let me just go over this with you all real quick. I said today the U.S. Senate failed to advance small business COVID relief 4008, ending the possibility of replenishing the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, the RRF. So it's saying the Senate failed, and that ends the possibility of this RRF being funded, which it says the devastating blow to the restaurant industry and operators. And then it goes on to give somebody's story about it. Now, I don't want to, like I said, I'm not picking on the RRF or Restaurant Association. I'm really not. But I do want to say, when they say it ends the possibility of replenishing the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, they couldn't be more for it. It's not right. It's not accurate. Here's what is going on right now. To bring you into perspective of what's going on with the RRF is it has not ended. The Restaurant Replenishing Act has not ended. It's literally still going to the floor today, not for a vote today, but it's going into the Senate, it's right now in the chamber as we speak, drawing up new plans for it. Let me get there. I'll get there for you. I know this is really good news to a lot of you who thought it was over. So I don't want to give your hopes too high, but I don't want to also crush your hopes, because it's going to come back. It's coming back. Ben Cardin comes forth to the Senate, and he brings out Bill S4008. Okay, so the legislation has been debated, it's been considered, and now it's been motioned to proceed came. They proceeded with the motion that day on the 19th of May when it was struck down by a 52-48 vote. We got that. Okay, so the motion brought forth the debate, which everybody considered it, and they said, sure, throw it to the floor. After the senators had the opportunities to discuss the legislation, all behind closed doors and in front, with a short debate, which they had that day. A motion to end the debate came, which Cardin did. We're ending the debate, and a cloture vote's coming. We want a cloture vote on this, which would put an end to S4008 as we know it. Okay, as we know it. Get this. Remember this. Okay, so it went down as a vote. It didn't pass. It wasn't over at that point in time, unless it was done, nobody else brought it back, it was just el finito. That didn't happen. Something else happened with that debate that afterwards that you may not know about, that I'm going to tell you about right now, which should give you plenty of hope. It's still available. Okay, guys, I'm sorry this thing is in my face right now, but as you can see, I'm going to try to point this bill out to you right here. I don't know how good your eyes are, but this is Bill HR 3807, which was passed by the Congress. Okay, now if you look over here, it's Representative Earl Blumenauer. Let's get a picture of him so y'all know who he is. He's Earl Blumenauer. He's a congressman in Oregon, I believe. Where is it at? Yeah, he's a congressman in Portland, Oregon. Okay, so we're looking at Earl Blumenauer there. Okay, he is the one who wrote the bill, and he didn't just let it slide like he didn't let the Senate slide. Okay, so that's Earl Blumenauer. Now, a Republican had put out a memo. A Republican in Texas had also put out a bill that was very similar to this, only it was just for the restaurants that were missed out on the RRF. They were fine with just saying, let's just give it to the restaurants that missed out. Add no more red tape to it, to anybody else out there, strictly for those that missed out. We'll do, I think it was $43,813,000,000 that they were willing to, that he was trying to get forward. And that would have been a much simpler plan to go with than this. Okay, guys, I'm kind of skipping into a different part of the video, but I need to make sure you know about this bill that was also put forward, because this ties in with what I'm getting ready to show you. This was the Republican bill, Chip Roy. Chip Roy, he doesn't get along with Democrats. He does not get along with them at all. I'm surprised he even jumped in on this. But he put a bill out here in HR 407 at the same time that the congressman had just put out 3807 that we're talking Blumenthal. Chip Roy had put one out as well and said, okay, look at mine. Let's think about passing this one. So here, if you go down to his bill, the Republicans, he basically said down here, The eligible applicant, in term of eligible applicant, means one of the 177,300 eligible entities identified by the administrator that applied during the covered period under Section 5003. So basically, he was saying, we just want to give them this. These are the only people that we've promised these funds to. And I believe if you go into it further, and in any way, it goes into like 43 billion, maybe it was 48 billion. Not sure exactly the number, but he had it down to the T and exactly how much the restaurants were going to go with. Okay, it's exactly how much the Republicans were saying. This is the number. These are the people who get the money. Okay, so just remember this, and as the video moves on. Okay, we're going to tie this together for you. Like and subscribe. However, let me not get off the subject here. Okay, if you can read down here, I don't know how good your eyes are, but it says, latest action was on the Senate floor, 5/25/2022. So if you look at that, 5/25/2022, that was a week after the debate had already closed. He brought it back. He brought it back and said, okay, guys, I don't think we should be done with this. Let's go ahead and get this back out on the floor. Let's see if we can do that. So we go look at the actions. This is placed on the Senate legislative calendar under general orders, calendar number 387. So you go to all action here and you click on that. Now, they read it the first time on the 24th, okay? And it was read under the first time. So a senator gets up there and says, and he talks to the Madam President, Mr. President, the leader of the floor today, the one who's chairing the Senate floor of the day, and says, okay, I'd like to bring up bill number 38074, Restaurant Revitalization Fund. Any yeas, any nays, any objections? Nobody objected. Okay, so they brought it up to read a second time, placed on the next day, under the general orders, under a calendar number 387. This is important. They brought it up the next day and said, okay, we want to put this on the calendar. We want to get this bill out there. We want to set the bill up and get it back on the floor. No objections. Okay, no objections, then send it to the floor. So they send it to the floor. So this is a very interesting area that we're at. Okay, so oftentimes when it doesn't pass, the debate. Let me move this out of my face for a second. So here we go. Oftentimes when it doesn't pass the Senate debates, they will bring it back and say, okay, let's try it in a different way. Then the Senate and the bill will have minor differences. The Senate's bill and the congressional bill will have minor differences, and that's okay. The Senate can still pass their bill as long as it's kind of in the same area. So it's all fine. It just has to be worked out in the chamber before the final approving of the bill, which it wasn't completely worked out in the chamber yet. Okay, so, but of course the Democrats bring it out there. Ben Cardin, good job, thank you. We appreciate that, and just to find out, hey, where are we sitting here, and also let the people out there know that, hey, these guys are going to vote against it. This will help us out during the election. So if we can save this bill for another time when the votes are coming, we'll do that. Okay, so what happens next is a special conference committee takes over. Members from both in the House and the Senate work together and improvise on the bill and get some provisions made for simplifying it and getting it out there and saying, okay, what about this one? Do you care? Will you like this one? And if that passes at the conference and the committee resolves the differences in between the House and the Senate versions. So the bill we're looking at now, it had to hit a majority vote. It didn't hit the threshold for the 60 votes plus. So the president can't sign it. They can't go forward with it without that. So some laws, especially laws that appropriate fundings for new programs that include provisions that require Congress to decide on to set a period of time when legislation is effective and should be renewed or reauthorized. To do this, a new bill has to be introduced and gets renewed, and the provisions of the law is made necessary to make any changes of the original law and a new timeline and for how long it's active. So say this RRF till 2023 or till the end of this year or till a couple months. They can do however long they want to do after they introduce it. Okay, so we go to the Restaurant 3807 bill. We go back to that, and as we can see over here, like I showed you, it's back on the floor. It's back into a committee. So we have to go look and say, okay, is it really on the calendar? So you go into the floor calendar and find out bill number 387, if bill number 387 is on the floor calendar. So if you go into congress.gov, where this is all the real deal, Holyfield right here, I'm going to go into congress.gov. And right here, you can see where it says floor calendars. So you click on floor calendars, and it's in the Senate right now. and a calendar of business. Right here, you'll click on that, and nothing came up. Yep, there we go. Okay, so here's the calendar of business. I don't know if y'all can get the whole picture here. I'm pretty sure you do. But let me go to Monday, June 6th, and that was Bill. What was he on there? Yeah, calendar number 387. So we're going to look for calendar number 387 and see if this is on the Senate floor. If it's on the Senate floor, then, well, the RRF is back on the Senate floor, and they're discussing those RRF funds the way the Republicans had written it, probably the $43 billion instead of the $48 billion plus the $14 billion for all small businesses, which they would probably nix that out, seeing how Congress and the Senate can't agree on much. Let me see if I can find number 3887. So you scroll down to find the bill. See, it goes in order. Over here, you'll see 71, 77, and it's going up. And we want to find 387. So it's very far down on the docket because it's relatively new. All these other ones were put in front of it. All these other bills were placed in front of it prior to them putting this bill out. So they usually go in the order in which they were received. So let's go down to 387, I believe it was. Oh, I found it. Okay, there we are. Bill H. in 387 is Bill H.R. 3807, so it's on the floor. It's basically back in front of the Senate. They're discussing this bill again. They are talking about RRF the money being appropriated so that you restaurants can have it. Here it is. It's the H.R. 3807, an act to amend the American Rescue Plan of 2021 to the appropriations to the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. You know what I'm saying? And for other purposes. Read the second time and placed on the calendar on May 25th. It was after the vote. So this has been put back onto the calendar for the RRF funds, and they are going to rediscuss this and bring it back. So with that news, with this being done that nobody knew about because nobody did their homework, and I've been watching Congress and the Senate, I watch them all the time, and I did not hear this bill brought back up. I was so shocked when I went back into the archives and I was like, okay, wait, this can't be the end. This can't be the end because it went down so poorly that it just couldn't. So here it is, guys and girls, here straight in your face that it's back on the Senate. The Senate still has it. And what happens now? What happens now? What happens? We need information. Yes, you need information. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so the Senate calendar bill is updated. After it's read the second time, it goes on and it makes it onto the calendar. The calendar of business is updated each day. Each day it's updated and the Senate is in session. So they might move it up the ladder to hit the floor. The calendar is composed of several sections and identifies the bill and the resolutions that are awaiting for Senate floor action. Okay, so most measures are placed on the calendar under a heading called General Orders, like we saw there in the sequence in which they were added, which is what we saw. So what does it mean when a bill is placed on the calendar? Is that in Congress, the phrase placed on the calendar accompanies a bill that's pending before the committee, or either the House or the bill is assigned to a calendar number, which determines when it's going to be considered by the House. On a legislative calendar, it'd be on a legislative day, and on a day which the legislation actually meets. So they are meeting in legislation for this, and it's not given an exact day on that, but and then we hit then it says it's placed on the general orders, which is a list of bills that have had a second reading, once again, a second reading, and await action by a full Senate. So now they're going to wait for the actions once the committees go into agreement. They sit down with it and they tweak it much more, acting as one large committee known as the Committee of the Whole. They call them the Committee of the Whole. I don't know. More people, okay, more heads in it, more Republicans can be there to say, okay, now we want this in, we want that out, we want this in, we want that. Now the Committee of the Whole comes forward and the Senate debates the bill again and is recommended for a preliminary passage, okay? So what happens with the second reading then is it normally has the first opportunity for the bill to be debated in the House. And so it goes back into the House and they say, yeah, it looks like us, just give it back. In the states where the overall principles of the bills, so the principles are kind of the same. They read it, yeah, it's the same. Send it back, second reading, moves on to the committee stage. So that's where we're at right now. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is responsible for introducing and voting on a companion bill of its own, which I've seen a lot of companion bills on their own that some Republicans have written and some other Democrats have written considering the RRF. There's a lot of these bills, HR this, the HR that, HR this, S that. And even Ben Cardin has another bill which kind of matches, which is still out there, which he may change the number to the bill that they went on voted on the first time to a new bill number, which we will probably be seeing shortly, probably before the election or right before the election. You know how they do that. This is all political, people. If you don't understand that by now, then you probably answered wrong in the first question that I had in this in this commentary that I'm doing for this. But just like the Senate, when a bill is introduced in the House, I can't. Am I getting blurry? Yeah. Okay. I won't use my hands then. Okay. Just like the Senate, when the bill is introduced in the House, the House parliamentarian is responsible for assigning the legislation to a specific House committee, which in this turn would be Ben Cardin's committee, because he's the head of the committee in there. Maybe Nydia Velázquez shoot it back over to the Congress for further deliberation. And sometimes the House authors will give a bit of a different title. Sometimes the House parliamentarian will give legislation a different number. So ultimately, the law can only be passed both if the House and the representatives introduce it and debate upon it and vote on the piece of legislation. So that's where we're at now. They're going to negotiate, and they're going to be compromising. Then oftentimes the Senate bill and the House bill will have minor differences, which we've seen that they do. So now we're at the point where they're negotiating and compromising in a conference, in a committee right now with this bill ahead. And oftentimes the Senate bill will have minor differences, like I said before, than the congressional bill, and that's fine here. But that's why Blumenthal, who was a congressman, put it out there, and they were the originators of it. So he's got complete and total control over this bill right now, and he's kind of nudging the Senate over there in the right direction in order to fix this, so that the restaurants can get their money. And then so they're in the chamber, and it can still be approved. And in order for this to be approved, it wouldn't even really have to go to a complete vote. Ben Cardin could get all the votes he needed and walk up there and say, okay, we have all the votes that we need. And they would have nobody there to object for the Republicans, saying that, no, I don't agree with this. Like, one objection from a Republican when it comes back to the floor, one objection can be like Rand Paul could jump up there and say, no, I object to it. But if even if they've got more Republican votes, they can go up there and object to it, but they won't do that if they know that they've already got the majority. They're all in the same, routine. They all correspond with each other, saying, okay, guys, we're going to let this pass, or at least we got 10 Republicans, they're going to let this pass. Don't even bother trying to object to it. And then they'll go and they'll pass this thing like on the spot. Within a matter of minutes, it can be done. So send it to the president after the conference committee and resolves any differences between the House versions and the bill. The chamber votes again to approve the bill again, which is what we'll see there. Once the chamber has approved the bill of legislation is sent to the president, and the president then makes a decision whether to sign the bill into law or not. If the president signs the bill, it becomes a law, which he would definitely sign this bill. He's been trying to do that, but sometimes, in this case right here, there's not going to be a presidential veto or anything like that. This is all straightforward. But some laws, especially laws that appropriate funding to new programs that include provisions and require Congress to decide after a set period of time to be renewed or authorized, then that's different when it's being renewed and authorized, which is what we're seeing here. This isn't just a simple bill. This is a very expensive bill. So that's why it's going through an extreme course and measure that it's taking to get to you and to be out there to the people. But to let you know, it's back on the floor. And the way we saw the first one go down, I got to move this. It's been in my face for a long time, and I apologize for that. I'll move that. But it's back on the floor, and there's very positive momentum behind what's happening. And as we can all know, we get politics. We get it. The Republicans don't want to lose their job, just like you don't want to lose your job. They don't want to. They're on trial. There's no other business in the world where you're literally fighting for your job, and you've got to diss people, and you got to find crap on people that why you're better than them. You literally got to tread on them and make them feel like crap and make people think that they're a piece of crap. That it's such a dirty business. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to doing the right thing, it doesn't usually happen. It usually happens for job security in one place, and the Republicans are holding on to their grasp right now. The best thing that can happen for the Republicans right now is for the economy to stay bad until November, or at least, not see too much light before November, so they can kick it in and say, okay, look what we've done, and pass this thing in November. And the Democrats are going to go and say, well, it's the Republicans that didn't want to do it, and this and that, even though we threw these ugly laws in there because we knew they wouldn't do it. If we did this, we knew that they wouldn't do it, and we'd have this bait. So it's a very political, great big move to get small businesses to turn from one side to the next. Now, as small businesses, it sucks for us. It sucks for you small businesses that are out there saying, the restaurants and those that needed that $10,000 HILA grant, saying it really sucks for us knowing that the politicians are playing this game with our money, and it's costing it's costing our livelihoods. So, but as far as the RRF goes, it's not dead. It's not a dead on arrival thing. It happened in that bill alone, but they didn't have to put the minor league baseballs and the new venues and this and that, all these other things in there. They could have left it pure and simple to what the CARES Act should have been left with the EIDL $10,000 grants, without putting a policy map in there. It was the same way. That's why personally, I would love to see the same thing with an EIDL program out there. Like we had promises from the Democrats left and right back in 2000. EIDL grants, you're going to get your EIDL grants, but then they put that policy map in there. They kind of screwed you, and now the Republicans are like, yeah, they screwed you. We didn't do it, but Republicans don't want to do anything either. So it's kind of like, where do you sit? Where do you sit politically on who to choose, who to vote for with this? Well, it's kind of a confusing thing. And I'm glad that my God isn't the author of confusion, and he doesn't let me go there. So I vote with my heart and my principles in my life value over, I'm not going to vote for who's better for small businesses. I'm just not, okay? And I'm going to vote for my ethics, my morals, and these and that. That's kind of just how I feel. A lot of people vote for small businesses. I'm a small business owner. I want the best. I want Trump or I want Biden. Now, who are you going to vote for when it comes time to vote? Because that's what this is all about. Because Warnock, we know that people voted for Warnock and Ossoff in Georgia. The Senate took over in the Democratic Party, and they have done nothing that they said that they were going to do for the EIDL grants at all. And that's why they were voted in. It was the small business votes that got them in. And they have done nothing, but the economy has shifted in such a bad way that now hopefully we can see that come forth. Hey, here comes Warnock with, hey, I got the EIDL bill right here. Vote for me. But yeah, are you going to throw a policy map in there? Because Warnock, you did nothing about the policy map. And neither did any of those guys out there. So I'm going to go Herschel Walker in Atlanta. In Georgia, I like Herschel Walker a lot. So I'm going to be privy to that side of the field right now, but that's just my opinion. Let me know how you guys feel about it down there, because it's not about who votes for who. I don't like you if you vote for them. I don't like you if you vote for. I disagree with you if you vote for them or if you vote for them, but I can still get along with you, and we can still help each other out. We got to live down here together. But the RRF is alive and kicking, and we're going to make sure that $10,000 EIDL grant gets alive and kicking. I did a video the other day on, I did a poll on what you guys wanted to see more, the $10,000 EIDL grant, EIDL loan deferment, or the RRF, or just move on, okay? I think it was 40% chose EIDL grant. Well, we're going to continue with the EIDL grant. We're going to push them, and we got to continue calling these senators and congressmen, because once in a while you get that, you call that senator or that congressman who you don't even know would help you out. And before you know it, you see a bill on the floor and you're like, dude, they took my call. They listened to me, and the staff member told the congressman or the senator, and now they've written me up a bill and put a bill for small businesses to get that RRF, per se. Who would have thought Blumenthal, right? Who would have thought Blumenthal? Nobody. But you got to get those calls in. I would have never thought that Blumenthal would have heard our cry. I know I've called his office a few times and asked him about this bill, and the staff has responded in, I mean, they're awesome. I've never met really an ugly staff, not many ugly staff members in Congress or the Senate. So don't be afraid to call them. And this is what we need to do right now. We need to be calling our congressmen and senators saying, hey, we need to get the RRF refunded. Please, go with Bill S3807 and let's get that back to the floor quickly. Let's do it quickly. Let's not wait for the voting or these things to be done here and there. Now, as far as EIDL deferment got 35% of the vote, which I did a video on that the other day. EIDL loans, I'm believing, will be deferred. Remember, we don't have to have a vote on that. That's strictly up to the SBA administrator. That's a Guzman thing. She can just put that off for another year, sign a piece of paper, hand it to Ben Cardin. She doesn't even have to hand it to Ben Cardin, but Ben Cardin would approve it, and you wouldn't have to pay the EIDL loans, or at least, for another year. She could do that on her own. So that's not going to be that hard, especially with inflation the way it is and the way it's hard for businesses right now. If they did the EIDL loans, if we're making small business pay EIDL loans right now, the economy would even crap even more. And this would be a really bad thing for the Democrats. So I can see the deferment coming along. That shouldn't be a problem. The next was the RRF was at 16 or 17% of the votes that we need to continue working on that. And that's enough for me to say, okay, I'm going to continue moving forward and helping these restaurants out, even though I'm not a restaurant. And I wish the restaurants would help also jump in and say, okay, let's combine RRF with EIDL grants. Instead of just, if I just wanted to do EIDL grants and I just said, screw the restaurants, then I wouldn't be able to empower and get that unity together with the small businesses, which is more powerful than just doing it singular, which is what the way that it seems to be working with the restaurants right now. But love you guys anyway. I'm going to continue fighting for those in the restaurant business as I have throughout this whole time. And then the other 10% of you, or might have been 14%, said just move on. Let's move on. Let's go into something new. What do you want to talk about? Sports? Go Bucks, go Lightning. I mean, I got that. I can do that. We can talk about music. I'm a musician. We can do recordings. We can do things like that. Or do I continue fighting for these people out there who really need me in the small business field? Well, I guess maybe a little bit of everything. But my main concern right now is making sure that you guys get taken care of and making sure the government does the right thing in the SBA, gets those loans back out there, gets that grant back out there for you guys, small businesses that are still hurting, and making sure this RRF fund gets put out there, and making sure that $10,000 grant promise that was made by these politicians gets carried through so that all of you can get that $10,000 idle grant. And I'm going to continue fighting for it. I'm going to continue fighting for it. And hopefully this video gets a lot of you out there who were wondering about the RRF. This puts things in perspective. It gives you clarity on what is actually happening behind closed doors with that. Like, is it over? Am I doomed? The answer is no, it's not. And I've heard it said on other channels that you are, but I just did the homework on this. I went way back in the files here, and I've gone into the Congress. This is actual reality of what is happening here. So hopefully this puts perspective on that RRF that most of you thought maybe it was just gone forever. Now, let's not let them think that way. Let's not let them think that we're that stupid in Congress and these senators where they think we're that stupid to where we don't know what's going on with this and we don't apply the pressure that we need to apply to them in order for them to push this forward faster, in order for them to get it to the floor again sooner, and in order for hopefully Ben Cardin can, I'm sure he is going to, he's been the fighter for small businesses. He really has. He's done a lot of things I disagree with, a lot, but he also does do things once in a while that really it shocked me that wow, okay, Ben, wow, man, you're really pushing for small businesses. He's the backbone in the committee. So when things don't go right, Ben's not happy in there. So let's let Ben know that we're all still fighting for him. We're behind him, and give him some encouragement and their staff over there in Cardin's office, and let him know that he is a big piece to this puzzle as far as it not going forward the first time. Thanks again for fighting for that, Ben. Appreciate it. However, I'm still kind of pissed off at you at the policy map error. I really wish that policy map could go away, and we need to get that policy map stricken and the rest of the $10,000 grants to those businesses that were promised it when you shut the doors down. So that would be great for you to do that. And hopefully you guys get this and find that it finds you well, and you've got new information on how things are working right now. And new information is good. New information is key to vital success in your businesses and in your lives. So with that said, can somebody just say, hey, we still want our 10K?
Somebody, give it to me. Somebody, give it to me. Somebody. Yeah.
Somebody say, hey, we want our 10K.
Yeah.
Hey, we want our 10K.
Yeah.
Hey, we want our 10K.
Yeah.
Hey, we want our 10K.
Give it to me.
Me and my friends, we like to play this game. Some call us annoying, but we think it's a shame. All find time to chat and go live and get with the House and Senate on the phone and online. We even tweet the press when we feel like we're stuck on Bill
S513.
Say you're out of luck, but I think that it's time that they hear our voice, and then we say it louder because it's our choice. We say, hey, we want our 10K. Got it? We got